Mentioned in a single verse in the book of Acts is an Athenian convert to Christianity. His title alone implies that he was one of the most learned men of the city. What more can we hear about Saint Dionysius the Areopagite? Dionysius is a major character in the early church, leaving behind many writings that would go on to inspire other saints like Maximus the Confessor and Gregory Palamas. Dionysius is the most quoted writer in the most famous works by the Catholic Saint Thomas Aquinas. He is unbelievably influential in Christian history. But any discussion about Dionysius has to also at least include the mention of the fact that there is an ongoing debate about whether or not the writings attributed to Dionysius were written by him in the 1st century or written in honor of his memory in the 5th century. This is a debate that is centuries old and is outside the scope of this channel. What I'd like to do here today is just talk a little bit about his story, which is interesting. Parts of it are included in these writings, and they are the stories that are told about Saint Dionysius the Areopagite, a man that listened to Paul in Athens in the 1st century. In Acts chapter 17, the Apostle Paul is traveling through the region of Greece, and he soon finds himself on his own in Athens, a center of learning for the empire, and he is invited by philosophers to come and speak at a place called the Areopagus, because they want to hear more about this resurrection of Jesus Christ. Paul takes up this invitation and goes to this rocky outcrop in Athens that you can still visit to this day. This hill was a place of discussion for the most intelligent people of the city. In times past, and probably to some extent still during Paul's lifetime, it was the center of the High Court of Athens. This was where the lawyers and the judges would go to discuss important matters. They would meet there and in the law courts of the city. The lawyers and the judges were known as Areopagites. It wasn't just a title of their job and an official designation, it was also an honorary title. For someone to be called an Areopagite, it was implied that they were knowledgeable in philosophy, rhetoric, mythology, in history, politics, astronomy, and science. So when Paul is preaching at the top of the Areopagus, he is preaching to some of the most learned men in the empire, and one of them is a highly respected judge of the city of Athens, Dionysius the Areopagite. Dionysius listened to Paul tell the story of Christ, and he was struck by several different things. But there was one thing that made him pay attention very closely, because several years earlier Dionysius had been studying astronomy with the experts in Heliopolis, a city in northern Egypt known as the City of the Sun. There, while studying with the astronomers, he beheld the sky going dark. During this eclipse, this event in which the sky went black around him, he had two separate thoughts in his mind. Either the creator of this world was in pain, or the world was about to end. When the sky cleared again and everyone went about their daily business as normal, Dionysius never forgot that event, and he never found an answer to it until now, because all of a sudden this man was telling them about why it happened. And when Paul gave him the dates, the year of this blackout, Dionysius went, "Finally, I understand what it was that I saw." And this part of the story helped him then embrace the rest of the Christian narrative and the rest of Christian teaching. Dionysius saw in the person of Christ, in the resurrection, the teaching that Paul was presenting, the completion of years of study of Greek philosophy, of science, and of everything that he knew as an Areopagite. Dionysius entered the Christian church, bringing with him decades of wisdom and experience, which he offered up to Jesus Christ, becoming a leader of the early church and eventually a martyr of the Christian faith. The name Dionysius was once that of a Greek god associated with wine, hedonism, insanity. Thanks to this saint, however, the name changed its association in the church forever. It's a name associated with a man that's remembered for intelligence, wisdom, and profound faith. Like Greek philosophy, like the altar to the unknown god that Paul references on Mars Hill, Dionysius, both in his name and in his person, reoriented himself towards the light of Jesus Christ and the truth he had been seeking his entire life. His story and his writings are still remembered in the 21st century. And if you travel to Athens today and you want to see the Acropolis, or you want to see the Areopagus, where Dionysius first heard the words of Paul, you have to walk down an ancient street, and that street's name is that of Dionysius the Areopagite. While we've got your attention, we have an episode on this channel about the little-known history of the Parthenon, and how, for the majority of its history, it was a Christian church. So do check that out. We're accompanying the episode with a cup of tea that has butterscotch and vanilla in it. It tastes a bit like a pastry, I think. It tastes like a dessert.